If you could switch to the next slide for me. I'll introduce myself. My name is Anthony Stevens. Kind of wearing the same tie too. I planned that. I'm the Director of Marketing for BioTrack Medical Software. And I have 6 years experience with marijuana seed to sale technology. And I'm currently responsible for all of our business training, the traceability system training, marketing, and of course, social media. Go to the next slide. A little bit about our company, BioTrack. BioTrack Medical Software has been around for about 10 years, and we originated in the pharmaceutical world. We developed software for doctors' offices and pharmacies, prescription drug monitoring program, and biometric e-prescribing. We actually took our knowledge and expertise from the pharmaceutical world and applied it to the marijuana industry. The product line that we're going to be going over today, BioTrack, has been around for about 6 years. Currently, we're in 300, a little over 300, locations across the United States and Canada. We're actually in 8 states, DC, and currently in Canada at the moment. And we actually have a 99% retention rate over those 6 years, which is almost unheard of in any business for that matter. And part of that reason is we listen to you guys as the customer. Half of our program is actually, the majority of our program is actually inspired by customer feedback. We're constantly pushing out meaningful software updates every 6 to 8 weeks inspired by you. So if you could switch to the next slide for me. Now, a little bit about us as well, just like the gentleman said, we are the developers of the state traceability system, and we are the world's first seed to sale system at a government oversight level, which is pretty impressive. We're proud of that, of course. And let's see here. One of the things that's really important, which you're going to notice as we move on here, is our commercial application, BioTrack, is the foundation of the Washington State traceability system. So you're going to notice actually the vast similarities as far as logic goes as we move on here. If you look below, that's actually a quick little screenshot of the state traceability system itself. Go on to the next slide for me, please. A couple things to look for when looking for a tracking system. First and foremost, of course, this is a no-brainer. Is it compliant with the state regulations? That's very, very important. Second, does it seamlessly integrate with the Washington State traceability system? I'll be honest, I've seen countless people use different spreadsheets and notebooks and pens and different applications to run their business, and it just doesn't always work out too well. There's plenty of room for error when doing it that way. And one of the nice things about the BioTrack program is it does sit right on top of the traceability system. So as producers, processors, and retailers, when you guys need to submit that data to the LCB, our commercial system actually takes care of all the legwork for you. Everything will seamlessly export to the state site, right to the program itself. And one of the nice things about it too is, people always ask, can I double check to make sure my data is correct before I submit it? Absolutely. Within the program itself, you're able to turn on the state monitoring system, and what our program will do is it'll actually, before you submit the data to the LCB, a pop-up window will appear basically saying, please look over this data. This is data that is going to be submitted to the state. So it allows you guys to actually review that, then submit it in real time. One of the things you will notice, of course, if you are awarded a license here, is there's multiple data points that you guys have to collect. So you're going to realize when you jump into this, look, I might have to hire an employee just to do data entry into the state system, and that's where we of course come into play. We allow you to just seamlessly import it, run your day to day, and let us worry about that compliance. One of the things that's really important too is, what if my data is not submitted correctly from whatever software I'm using? I can tell you right now, I've heard this thousands of times from the state. If the provider you choose does not export that data correctly, it's not the software's fault. It's going to be your responsibility to make sure that that is exported correctly. So, I'm stressing, just make the right choice, do your homework. I mean, of course I work for the company, but please look into all the other ones out there and make the correct decision to make sure that this does get exported correctly. Is the system proven in other markets? You're not going to want just somebody, creating software out of their garage. You don't want them to run a multi-million-dollar operation that you just invested into. So, make sure before you make that decision on a current company, make sure you look into everything to make sure that they are proven. We currently have 3 offices across the country. Corporate is in South Florida. We have an office in Denver, Colorado, and we also have an office here in Seattle. Okay, and then the next thing, is it a complete solution? Just like I said earlier, not only, yes, do we do the traceability system? Absolutely. But the business solution that we're going over today literally will run every piece of your business. We have time management features. You can customize your user permissions to ensure that your employees aren't doing things that they shouldn't be doing within the program. There's over 160 different customizable user permissions within the program. So you can grant or revoke access to certain modules internally to ensure that certain people aren't doing certain things. We also have, scheduling. You guys as producers are applying for the production licenses. You can do, plant yields and forecasting. If you want to find out how much plants are yielding you or what you should expect 3 months down the road, this system does that too. As a processor, converting products from byproduct into food-grade solvent extracts or even edibles, the system can actually handle that, so you get your conversion rates and percentages. And then, of course, on the retail side, you have anything on the point-of-sale aspect for retailers. You have built-in marketing, loyalty programs, discount programs, a whole bit. This literally will take care of every part of your business. Next slide, please. Now, violations and enforcement, this kind of jumps onto the previous slide here of making that right decision. Now, again, if you guys don't submit the data correctly, and not to scare you, but I'm just here to speak the truth, if you guys don't submit that data correctly, there are going to be consequences for it. And those consequences can range, from written notices, you can, license revocation, or, even possibly even worse, escalating that to local, state, or tribal law enforcement. So just be, very, very careful with that. Of course, as protection, we of course do ensure that all of your data is exported correctly from our application to the state site. So, we of course guarantee that because, again, we have developed the traceability system itself. Next slide. A couple, advantages of the BioTrack program. It's of course developed specifically, for the marijuana tracking and its unique challenges. As you guys know, this is not an easy product to kind of keep tabs on here. Please do. How's that? There we go. So, one of the nice things about our program is because we have this 6 years experience in this field. Was there some bumps and bruises along the way? Absolutely. But you guys as our customer help us get this product right. So, it is, again, specifically designed for this industry and for this industry only. Of course, like we said earlier, we are the only one accepted at a government oversight level. So we are vetted and proven. Data is collected in real time for analysis and real-time alerts. So, everything, you guys can find out, what's going on. There's actually forensics reporting in here so you can find out what employees are doing and when they're doing it. Every action is time-stamped through the application. And of course, it automates the double data entry, so you guys don't have to hire that employee just to submit data within the traceability system. Next slide. A couple other advantages. It's very, very, very user-friendly. I cannot stress that enough. Every single pop-up window within our commercial application has instructions on the left-hand side. So if you guys get lost as you're going along, those instructions are there for you or your employee. We of course also put all of your employees and management through extensive training programs to ensure that you're comfortable with using this on a day-to-day. And of course, if you guys have any questions, we have our 800 number, which is, you can reach a live representative at any time. We have built-in training videos, so if you guys wanted to just see individualized training videos for the program, you could do that as well. Again, the extensive forensics reporting, I really do want to go over this for a second, because this is pretty neat. Let's say, for instance, whether you're on the production side, processing side, retailer, or joint producer processor, again, every action is timestamped. So let's say, for instance, there was you had 30% less of a yield on a certain strain that you normally get. And let's say you wanted to find out who actually did that harvest that day. You could run this inventory forensics report and sort it by action. So you could sort it by plant harvest. And you can actually find out, okay, John Doe did this harvest on 3/12/2014 at 12:32 p.m. And this will literally list out every part of that process there, barcode, strain name, what the yield was, etc. And it does that for every part of the program too, so when you do wholesaling from one location to the other, you can actually find out who did that wholesale as well. Tax obligation reporting, you guys will be, of course, obligated, of course, to submit those reports to the LCB. I believe it's on a monthly basis for tax reasons. And you can do that straight through the software as well, too. Again, it does sit right on top of it, so you can export all that data. So, again, we're really just trying to make this easy for you guys. One application does everything seamless. The laboratory testing as well, we're going to go over this a little briefly too, but we have the integrated lab testing, so if you want to also include those lab results on the label, when you wholesale it, they can automatically print through the program, which is pretty cool. And then of course, again, seamlessly integrate with the traceability system, and it's an all-in-one solution for every aspect of your business. This is not just a tracking system, it's a tool to help you guys run your business on a day-to-day. Next slide, please. So now we're going to start going over some of the, I want to go over some of the features and benefits on the production side. If you notice on the screenshot here, this is actually one of the producer screens that you guys can utilize, which is pretty cool. And there's a couple different ways in which you can view it, but one of the things about our program is every single plant within the software is assigned its own unique 16-digit non-repeatable barcode number. And that barcode will follow the plant through the whole entire growing process, all the way up to the point of sale, if you're a retailer, or of course to the point of wholesale, if you're a producer processor. A couple other things, as a producer, you guys will be able to add in strain information, whether it's an indica, sativa, indica dominant, sativa dominant, even a 50-50, you can add in your own custom types. The system actually has genealogy tracking too. So let's say, for instance, as a producer, you guys have designated mother plants, and let's say, for instance, you want to find out which mother plant's yielding you the highest output. You could run a mother yields report and find out, okay, I pulled 15 clones from this mother, this is the maximum, minimum, and average yield that each mother plant produces. So, every part of every data point that's entered into the system can, of course, a report can be generated for it. None of the data is ever wasted that you enter into the BioTrack program. If you notice to the right here, we have the stat and strain bar, so you can find out total number of plants, what the numbers are, how many in veg, pre-flower, etc. You can also find out how many strains you have total throughout your grow operation too, which is pretty nice. And one thing that's really beneficial about the program is we don't force you guys, whatever licensee type you are, we don't force you guys to do things our way. The system is completely configurable to your business logic. So upon installation, our training team and support team will go through a checklist with each and every one of you to ensure, so, as producers especially, you guys, this is an art. I mean, you guys all do things completely different here. There's no right or wrong way to do it. So we'll configure the system around your business logic. And one of the things I mean by that is there's multiple ways of tracking the plant internally within your production facility. You can do it one of 3, one of 4 ways. You can utilize the grid system, like you can see behind me, there's the ABC 1, 2, 3. If you wanted to do it that way, you can actually print out a physical barcode for each location. So let's say, for instance, you're moving it from one spot to the other within your grow. You could literally scan the barcode of the plant with a wireless barcode scanner, scan the location you're moving it to, and the plant automatically moves to that spot. You could also do it by utilizing plant tables. A lot of growers will put 20, 30 plants on each table here, and when you're moving that plant from one table to the other, you can do the same thing. And then lastly, there is a different mode in which you can view it by. You can add additive information to plants. You can apply plant notes to certain plants. You can even set reminders. So let's say one plant was, you wanted your master grower to check it out tomorrow and check it for, say, spider mites or mold. God forbid, hopefully that never happens to any of you. But, if it did, you could set that reminder, so when he logs in the following day, you might have 10 or 15 plants blinking. So if you notice that one plant in red, you can actually send an alert on a plant-to-plant basis. So, again, it's going to really capture and run every aspect of your business. Let's see. You can go on to the next slide. Just continuing on the producer side, if you notice here, if you guys wanted to find out what's my most profitable strain, there is a yield report in which you can run. So when you guys are collecting, say, wet weights and dry weights of these plants, not only can you find out percentage differentiation and what your average moisture loss percentages are on a per plant or per strain basis, you can actually find out how much each plant is bringing you in. So let's say, for instance, you guys take, let's say you collect the cannabis and you put that cannabis in a lot, right? And of course, lots cannot exceed 5 pounds here in Washington. What you can also do too is you could take a byproduct like trim, the sugar leaf, the stems, whatever the case may be. You can set those into lots as well. So when you wholesale those out to a processing facility, you can actually get a total dollar value that these plants bringing you in. So maybe your blueberry plant is bringing you in on average of $582. So it really gets down to the nitty gritty, and you can really get a handle on what's your best seller, what's bringing you in the most money, etc. And then lastly, you can forecast your future yields. This is actually going to be a huge benefit to producers. Because let's say, for instance, you want to run a report and you want to find out what you should have on hand in grams per strain on a plant-to-plant basis. So I could run a report and find out 30, 60, 90, even 120 days out what I should have on hand in grams per that strain. So it really just helps you guys forecast your on-hand inventory so you can kind of project, okay, what am I going to have? Maybe I need to produce a little more, etc. Next slide, please. Go to the next slide, please. Okay, now inventory tracking. Now this screen right here actually applies to all licensee types. What you guys use it for is, of course, going to change a little bit. Now, if you guys recall that first slide of the actual traceability system that I put on there, you'll notice how similar the applications are as far as logic and feel. Now, as far as on the producer side, this is the screen where you guys will be able to convert that flower flower into flower lots or sublot those out. On the processing side, the pretty nice thing about it is you can take that byproduct material and you can convert it into other usable products. Like let's say you want to take the trim and convert it into food grade solvent extract, or that sugar leaf and convert it into some weed butter. Whatever the case may be, you can actually take that product, do the conversion through the software, and you'll actually be able to get those conversion rates and percentages, which is huge for you guys. And then you can even take that food grade solvent extract that you've converted, and you can then convert that into a usable product, like let's say a soda or an edible, whatever the case may be. So you're able to literally run every part of your program within the inventory screener. And you can do the same thing, you can wholesale things out. We have inventory auditing features, so you guys can audit your inventory. A couple other things too is, let's see. One of the nice things about the inventory screen for all of you guys is it has multiple inventory rooms, the capability. If you notice at the top where it says rooms, let's say you have a safe on premise, or let's say your quarantine room in which when you do a manifest, it's of course required to go into quarantine for 24 hours. The system will do everything automatically, and you can put those items in that room. So it really just helps you guys differentiate, where your inventory is on premise, which is pretty nice. And let's see. You can go on the next slide. Okay, quality assurance testing. This is, of course, very important. Every single lot, flower lot that is, of course, needs to be tested for quality assurance. Okay. Now, within the program itself, you guys, of course, will be able to apply the moisture content percentages, the potency analysis, the foreign matter inspection, and the microbiological screening. And these data points and lab results can, of course, automatically be applied per lot. And there are a couple safeguards in place within the BioTrack program to ensure you're not wholesaling a wrong lot that wasn't tested. So if a lot's not tested yet, you will not be able to wholesale that out. Because, of course, that is required here in the state of Washington. Every lot needs to be tested. And if you guys want, you can have the percentage information on the label, where it got tested from. It'll tell you pass, fail notifications. And of course, again, you can auto-include those on the label itself. So that'll seamlessly, of course, import into the system here. Next slide. Okay, the transportation manifest. Something that's also required. to you guys that you guys have to do is the Washington State Transportation Manifest. And typically this is of course done through the traceability system itself. But again, because this sits on, our commercial application sits on top of that, you can actually generate this manifest that you see here automatically through the program. There are going to be some required things that you do put on there, route information, lot number, quantity within the vehicle, who's transporting it, vehicle, make, model, plate, and color, the VIN number of the car. So this is automatically imported. So when you do, when you actually create the manifest for the program, that exact form will actually pre-populate in PDF format. So you won't need to fill that out, handwrite it in, the whole nine. It'll do everything on its own, and it'll send that data directly to the LCB that's required. And then this is nice too. I mean, we do the transport manifest in other states. You know, even if the state doesn't require a manifest, why wouldn't you want to give that to your driver? I mean, if they do get pulled over, at least they have something that's verifiable within them, on them in the vehicle. So it's just a really, really nice tool to have. You know, of course, for you guys it's required, but you know, it's just nice that this is automatically generated through the program itself. Now, lastly, we have the retailers, of course. You know, as far as the retailers go, so you know, you have the producer side, the producer functionality, you have the processing functionality, you have the manifest, and now the product's finally at the retail store. So, you know, you guys are all in this to make money, right? So, a couple of things that you can do on the retail screen is you know, you guys, of course, are not required to collect customer data, but one of the nice things about the program is you could collect, say, a phone number for marketing purposes, or maybe an email address. You know, whatever the case may be, we have all of these discount programs, loyalty programs that we've built into here that really just allow you guys to get a grip on, you know, what's going on. Even if you do collect demographic info, you can even pull up sales demographic reports, find out where your customers are coming from. One of the nice things too is we do have built-in marketing in here, and it's completely free. It's free to you, and it's free to the customer as well. One of the things that our developers actually figured out was if you apply the phone number within the system, if you choose their carrier information within our program, the way the cell phone company reads that is they read that as an email and not a text message. So, because every phone number has an email address technically, it's the phone number, and then it's at, you know, Verizon.com, at Sprint.com, whatever the case is. So by choosing their carrier information, you know, you can automatically send that email blast or text message blast, you know, to all of your customers. You, of course, can just scan items in. Everything's going to be pre-packaged here, so everything's going to have that barcode on it. So it just really just allows for just quick and easy, you know, ringing up of the customer. And of course, you can set static price points, pretty straightforward. You can, of course, set all of the tax rates per product too, so you are, you know, collecting the correct tax to submit on that tax obligation report, which is going to be extremely important. Let's see here. Go on to the next slide. Now, record keeping. As some of you may know, again, this is not a website. Our system is not a website. The traceability system is, but this system is not a website. One of the nice things about it, though, is we give you guys the choice of where you want to house your pertinent business information. So if you want to host it on site, you can have a $400 desktop computer as your server, and you can host that on site. Or you can host this in the cloud on a cloud server if you wanted to. So, you know, we give you guys the option. You can do whatever you want. We don't force you again into doing things our way. Again, the tax obligation report we already went over, but it provides some security measures to ensure everything's kept confidential. Every single thing that gets uploaded with the BioTrack program is installed with SSL certificates, secure socket layer encryption. So only the items loaded with the program itself are able to access that data. So even though we're not a website, you guys still have the same benefits of pulling data up. So let's say, for instance, you're sitting at your home, or you're in Hawaii on vacation. You want to see what your sales are for the day, or you want to see, if you're a producer, what plants have alerts on them. You could still log in remotely in real time and view that data, which is going to be really nice for you guys. So there's no lag, there's no 24-hour differentiation in data. It is all real time. And one of the last things on the reporting is there's over 100 different customizable reports in here. They're all exportable to CSV file formats, like Excel. But on the production side, they range from, we went over a couple. the mother yield reports. You can run the just regular plant inventory sorted by strain and by room. You could run the forecasting reports if you wanted to. The moisture loss reports, yields forecast. On the production or processing side rather, you have, of course, inventory conversion reports to find out, again, those conversion rates and percentages. You can run your wholesale transaction reports to find out who was wholesaled what. There's, of course, accounts receivable and payable on here. And, you know, very shortly, we're actually going to be releasing a full-blown accounting module within the program. And that kind of brings me back to, you know, a past comment, is we're pushing out updates every 6 to 8 weeks. And one of the things with us is we don't upcharge you for the marketing. We don't upcharge you for the accounting platform. Everything that's in the BioTrack program, you guys will get, and you guys can choose whether or not you want to use it or not. So, you know, again, that comes with the customization that we do upon setup. We'll ensure that you're only using the points that you guys want to use. And then, of course, on the retail side, sales reports, there's a bunch of them. You have sales trends reports to find out which products are selling at a higher rate for this time period. You can run, you know, a best sellers and worst sellers report. You could find out actually average wait time for your customers, because if you actually use the check-in queue on the retail screen, it actually auto-clocks how long each customer's waiting. So, you know, maybe you want to find out, okay, do I need another staff member for that day? You know, maybe your average wait time on a Tuesday is 20 minutes and your average wait time on a Monday is only, you know, 5 or 10. Well, that means on Tuesday you might need another employee on premise. So again, it really gives you the tools you need to run every part of the business and you know, properly project and staff for those time periods. So, you know, the system is, there's a boatload of other reports actually. If you head to our booth a little bit afterwards, we have a bunch of information we can hand out to you that actually goes over every report, every part of the program as well too. So, because I could honestly sit here for, you know, hours and speak about all the different reports that are actually in this application here. And also a handful of the reports also export to QuickBooks too. So before we, you know, in the meantime, while you're waiting for the accounting module to get released, you guys can of course export that data to QuickBooks. Or, you know, if you'd rather use QuickBooks and not our accounting platform, by all means you can do that too. Next slide. Okay, stay compliant, be profitable. That's you know, that's I think the moral of the story. That's the goal here. You know, everyone wants to stay in compliance and of course make money. That's the whole point. So you can choose it. Next slide, please. And then just some final thoughts here. You know, again, before you guys make a choice on a software vendor, whether it's us or somebody else, do your homework. I urge you to do that. You know, I tell my clients that all the time. You know what's out there. Know what the, you know, strong points are of the systems, the weak points are. You know, and just and again, make sure that it is seamlessly, you know, it's seamlessly integrated with the traceability system itself. Because you want to save the time, you want to have that peace of mind. Do your homework before making this decision. You know, and a couple other things, just as far as final thoughts go. I mean, just, you know, really it just all buckles down to compliance. But you know, you guys are not going to want just a system that helps keep you compliant. Again, you're going to want an all-in-one solution that does, you know, does every part of your business, that operates every piece of your business. Why use QuickBooks and a notepad and pen coupled with a, you know, point of sale system that is for the restaurant business? You know, again, I ran into a previous client before they switched to us, and they were using a system that was for restaurants. So in their medical marijuana, this is in Colorado, in their medical marijuana business, they had a steak button on their point of sale system. It's like, what do you, I mean, you're not gonna, you want something to be pertinent for this industry. You don't want to sit there and ring up a steak or an apple by accident. So, you know, just, you know, make sure that it's a proven company, make sure that they have that background, the expertise, and, you know, I'll basically leave it at that, you know, trust us, trust BioTrack to be your software provider. We will ensure that compliance, you know, we keep you compliant, and we're here for you. I mean, that 99% retention rate wasn't a joke. You know, in 6 years, we've literally lost one customer. And I guess technically we didn't lose a customer because the reason why they did is there was a client of ours, joint partnership, and they ended up breaking that partnership up. One of them kept the system, the other one switched to somebody else. So I guess technically we haven't lost one. But again, it really just speaks volume of the system and what our support team and staff, we make sure you guys are trained. We make sure you guys can actually reach us if you have a problem. And even if you do have an issue, one of the nice things about it is we have a remote access that's built into the program itself. So let's say, for instance, you guys wanted to, you called us up and you said, hey, I'm having an issue here, can you help me out? One of our tech support reps can actually log into your computer when you provide us a username and password, because when you pull it, it's called TeamViewer. It's an application you can pull up, you can read us off your ID number and password, and your password changes every time. So we're actually able to log in live, like someone's standing right next to you helping you out, which is really, really helpful. So, we really do pride ourselves not only just on our product, but of course our staff and our support. Next slide, please. And then lastly, again, we do have a booth here right in the back, so please stop by if you don't have our information yet. I'm really urging you, take our information down. We can do product demonstrations to you over the internet, whenever you guys want. Just reach out to us. We'll be able to, organize that for each and every one of you. And other than that, we can be reached a couple different ways. You can call us on 1-800-797-4711. You can visit us on our website, which is BioTrackTHC.com, or you can shoot us an email at sales@BioTrackTHC.com. Again, my name is Anthony Stevens. If you guys want any more information, we're in the back. Thank you guys very much.